straight into the roof of the net. Nice one. Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Firstpost. I'm Rupha Ramani. Let's get started. There's lots lined up for you this evening. In cricket, has Hardik Pandya, the Indian cricketer who was booed all through India during the Indian Premier League tournament, is he most certainly going to be announced as the captain for India for the T20 series against Sri Lanka. We give you more on this big story and what a comeback Hardik Pandya has staged yet again. There's lots in football too. Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams are the face of Spain's football revolution. Is Spain changing its image from a country that harbored racism in the sport to now celebrating true champions of it? We also take you through the two young guns' turmoil-filled journey to the top. And speaking of turmoil, we look at the toxic relationship between England football and its fans. A survey reveals that fans display violent tendencies that spike every time England plays football. What's the connection between the two, and is England's toxic fan culture taking over the game? But first, all the headlines in Sports 360. Starting with cricket, a police complaint has been filed against former Indian cricketers Yuvraj Singh, Harbhajan Singh and Suresh Raina. They've been accused of ridiculing people with disabilities. In an Instagram video, all three of them were seen pretending to limp to a viral song. Harbhajan Singh has issued an apology online and has also deleted the video. Things escalate between India and Pakistan when it comes to the ICC Champions Trophy. The latest, Pakistan Cricket Board wants India to submit proof of government's denial for India's travel. This has come after reports of sources saying that India is not keen on travelling to Pakistan, citing security concerns. Over in tennis, 22-time Grand Slam champion Rafael Nadal has made a comeback. For the first time since his French Open elimination, he teamed up with Casper Ruud to secure a round of 16 win at the Sweden Open men's doubles event. Over in football, president of the Colombian Football Federation and his son have been arrested in Miami. The duo have been accused of fighting with security guards during the Copa America final. The duo got into a fight while trying to enter the pitch to participate in the awards ceremony. And news from Olympics, Chinese swimmers will have to undergo increased number of drug tests before Paris Olympics. This was confirmed by the World Aquatics governing body. While swimmers from other nations will face the doping test only 4 times, athletes from China will be tested at least 8 times. This after 11 swimmers were involved in a major doping row during the Tokyo Olympics. The dust from the whirlwind T20 Cricket World Cup has settled. The euphoria is slowly fading, as it does after every sporting event. The time to move on and think of what next is here. And it's a bit of a reality check that has come for Indian cricket too. Rohit Sharma, the captain, has given a very heartfelt farewell note at the press conference right after India lifted the World Cup last month.
This was my last T20 World Cup playing for India. It's time for the next generation to take over. This was an open secret. It was not something that I was not going to announce if we had lost. There are some amazing players playing in India. They're going to take the team forward in the T20 format.
And that is where things stand at this point. The very romantic Dravid and Rohit Sharma era in Indian cricket has come to a close. If Rohit's tears, his speech and his farewell didn't choke up any of the fans, the former white ball captain's social media post, at least the former T20 format captain, his post on Rahul Dravid and his tenure together surely would have. You could sense the camaraderie and the warmth that the two shared. But nostalgia is always short-lived, at least it should be. It's time to move to the present and plan for the future, because at stake is something more significant, of carrying forward the legacy and the momentum that India established under Rohit Sharma, the captain, and Rahul Dravid, the coach. So we have a new man at the helm now. From the coaching perspective, Indian think tank has gone ahead and put Gautam Gambhir in place. Like we said it right here before the announcement came in, Gautam Gambhir will take charge and he will bring his own dynamics, his own coaching staff into the mix. That's bound to happen. The big question is who will be the captain? The Indian cricket captain. And like any successful marriage, Indian cricket too is about the right partners for each other. So who would be the perfect foil to Gambhir in this setup? Contrary to what some of the papers have said and reported today, sources to CricketNext and of course our Network 18 have revealed that the frontrunner for the position of captain of the T20 format is Hardik Pandya, the much beleaguered, much maligned all-rounder who has risen from the ashes like a phoenix. Is all but certain to take charge when the BCCI announces its squad for the Sri Lankan series that's set to take place later. Hardik Pandya was the vice-captain at the T20 World Cup, but I have to focus on just why this ride has been what it has meant for him and what it has been across all fronts over the last 6 months. It of course all began when he decided to leave the Gujarat Titans IPL franchise for Mumbai Indians. The Mumbai fans did not take this all too well. There was a clamour for Rohit Sharma to come back at the helm. Hardik was booed everywhere in India at all stadiums. He put up a brave front and the management, to its credit, stuck with him till the end. The team looked completely out of sorts and yes, being unfavoured and being booed and being ridiculed and criticised can be very debilitating, as it showed in his own individual performance. When the T20 World Cup, of course, came up, many wondered how Hardik Pandya would be able to shake off the horrific few months leading up to this and turn up strong in India colours. He, of course, managed to play his part rather well and India made it to the final. Against South Africa, under pressure, less than 10 runs to bowl and defend in that last over. The match could have gone either way. Hardik Pandya came up trumps.
I think the World Cup win is even more special for me given how my 6 months have been. I have been very graceful of not speaking a word. Things have been very unfair, but I believe that if I keep working hard, then I'll be able to shine and do what I have always done. That sums everything up. It was a dream to win.
These images that you see behind me of a man who's been through one roller coaster ride was there for everyone to see. How he sank to the ground right after that match, broke down, sobbed his heart out, was carried by his teammates, and of course that picture that broke the internet of Rohit Sharma planting a big kiss on Hardik Pandya's cheeks. From boos and jeers to hordes of fans cheering and applauding the man that they were loathing just some months ago. In fact, when he was at his home, there was a huge, massive welcome that Hardik Pandya received as he came home. Life indeed has come a full circle twice over for Hardik. When Gujarat Titans made him captain, he was coming in on the back of a career-threatening injury, suspension, and a very bad reputation as well as form. He turned all that around with a title-winning season for Gujarat, and now too, with this World Cup, Hardik has announced his comeback to the top in a grand manner. Now, there are many talks of Surya Kumar Yadav too being in the mix of leading the side, but all credible sources point towards Hardik Pandya. Just like how the Mumbai Indians franchise continued to keep its faith on him, so has the BCCI management, and with Gautam Gambhir at the helm, this partnership could work. Hardik likes a strong hand as coach, one who takes decisions and has a vision in place, like he had in the Gujarat Titans setup with Ashish Nehra as his mentor. It's going to be pretty much like that with Gambhir as his partner in crime here. This is the next era of India's campaign in the T20 format. And though I'm not sure about what the results will look like, one thing is certain, it promises plenty of fireworks on and off the field. What does being an English fan today feel like? Not great, I'm sure. But an English fan is not that great either. I'll come to that slowly. The latest, though, from England football is that Gareth Southgate has decided to part ways with his team. He's decided to step down after what has been a rather tenuous tenure as manager of the side. He says, "It has meant everything to me. I have given it my all. But it is time for change and for a new chapter." He says it's time for a change. Yes, that's true. A change all through, because it was another tournament that went with yet another loss for England. Now, the feeling of anguish is a common emotion after a defeat. Fans and athletes are heartbroken after failing to cross the line. That feeling is mutual. But when the grief crosses over to violence, then consequences are brutal. English fans particularly do not seem to care about that, about where to draw the line and how to truly take defeat throughout the Euros. England fans have had a fair share of incidents You think of how they showed their frustration towards the team and their anger towards Gareth Southgate by hurling plastic bottles and other waste right after a game. Then there was that physical altercation with Serbia supporters. But apart from these streaks, they tried to keep their emotions in check. In all fairness, though, they had little to grumble or grieve about. Their team had made it to another Euros final. So most emotions in check as long as England were progressing in the tournament and doing well. And just after they suffered a 2-1 defeat at the hands of Spain in the final, the old version of English fans reared its ugly head. While Spanish fans were basking in the glory of the triumph, English supporters were busy venting their rage. And you'd be severely mistaken if you thought this was the only time England fans were behaving this way. England has a history of violence. It's almost a symbiotic relationship with their misfortunes at big football events. The more England players lose, the more rage English fans feel, is what you'd think. But there's more to this. It's the most toxic relationship in the sport, the one between England football team and its fans. Surveys suggest that after every World Cup result, violence increased significantly, and after every game, it increased significantly. And not just violence on the street, that mob mentality that I'm referring to here and the pictures that you also see. It's more blood-chilling. In reference to violence at home as well, domestic abuse. In fact, the numbers I'll show you will shock you. Every time England loses, domestic violence goes up by 38%. The next parameter is a bit of a surprise. After victory, the case of domestic abuse spikes to nearly 50%. So win or lose, there's no escaping violence. Violence seems to be the only language English fans know best. Many blame it on the excessive alcohol consumption. When a fan isn't drinking, there is no spike in domestic abuse. During the game, the abuse is also restricted as the focus is on the players, the game, the action. But in the first 4 hours after the match starts, it picks up. And it peaks 10 to 12 hours after kickoff. That's many hours after the game's concluded. If I have to sum this up in simpler words, if a match starts at 5 p.m., domestic abuses start getting reported around 9 p.m. and the busiest period is between 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. in the morning, hours after the game. England football has not seen glory since their 1966 World Cup triumph. For years now, the football-crazy nation is just living on the hopes that it's coming home. In the last edition of Euros, England lost to Italy in the final. It was a very, very heart-wrenching loss, while players of colour, Rashford, Saka and Sancho, were all targeted with racist abuse on social media. Most of those English fans, the very same section of fans, went home to physically abuse their family. And the abuse isn't just restricted to international football. According to reports, about 524,000 domestic abuse cases were reported in Manchester alone between 2012 and 2019. That's a big number. And when were these cases reported? During the 800 games played by Manchester City and Manchester United. In England, football and violence are like a ticking time bomb. So much so that the famous chant that English die-hard football fans keep saying has been rephrased to this. A survivor of such violence and the CEO of a charity organization, Emma herself, says she wouldn't go out with a football supporter in fear.
He was a big Fulham and England fan. So every time a football match was on, it was an excuse for him to go to the pub, it was an excuse for him to get drunk, and it would always result in an incident. Whether they'd won or whether they'd lost, it was just another reason for him to say, "That's why I behaved." So now I don't follow any football. My fiancé is not into football, and if I'm being honest, I don't think I ever would have got with somebody who had a big interest in football.
Take India, for example. The national cricket team lost to Australia in the ODI World Cup final and World Test Championship final the previous year. But instead of getting violent on the streets or at home, fans romanticized it. You could see messages of heartbreak everywhere. In simpler words, an unfinished love story. What football means to many in England, cricket is in India. They celebrate each win, mourn over each loss in a manner that befits the emotions with which the players play the sport, with pride and joy. And that's what sport is. Winning and losing is part of the game, and it's time English fans start realizing the same. Now, there is a new order that has come into being. Spain winning Euros is what we all saw. But in the triumph, there's a bigger story. The face of the win were two youngsters, but that's not it. Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams have become a symbol, rewriting all that Spain has been known for. The same country who once chanted the names of Andre Iniesta, Xavi, and Iker Casillas were echoing "Long live Lamine Yamal" and lauding Nico Williams during a historic campaign in Germany. In the country that has seen stories of divisive politics, Yamal and Williams were breaking one on their own.
Es el bandera de España. A ver por ahí. ¿Cómo suena? ¿Cómo suena? Dale, dale, dale.
For decades, Spain has been perceived as a racist country when it comes to football. So for them to not just accept a player of color, but make them the poster boys of the team was something. Because the biggest example of this has been Vinicius Jr. The Brazilian has been subject to racism throughout in Spain, ever since he arrived at Real Madrid. From being subjected to racist slurs to watching people burning his effigies, the Real Madrid star has had a horrid time in Spain. So from this visual, to now this one. Spain's definitely come a long way in a country where a top athlete like Vinicius is racially abused to now two youngsters of color making their way to the top and winning. It's definitely been the change Spain needed. Historically too, Spain hasn't had many players of color in their setup. Players like Donato, Marcos Senna and Catania were Brazilians. They were granted citizenship after moving to Spain. The acrimony and the atmosphere around Spanish football was such that in 2004, Spain's national coach back then, Luis Aragonés, thought it was all right to direct a racial comment towards France's legend Thierry Henry. And just last year, the same Williams, who is currently lauded, was subjected to monkey chants in a club football game against Atletico Madrid. So for a country like Spain, Yamal and Williams' rise is significant. It is a sign of strong will trying to cut the deep-rooted racial undertones that this football system and its players have endured for generations. And while we currently see the two kids dancing, rejoicing and enjoying their football, it's hard to sometimes even imagine how difficult their journey to get to this point was. Spain's hero in the Euros final, Nico Williams' parents fled Ghana to escape poverty. It wasn't an easy immigration for them in Spain either. They fell prey to human trafficking. Williams' parents were left to starve, stranded in the desert. This was even before Williams was born. They were forced to seek political asylum just to get a citizenship of Spain. And after that, life for Williams and his parents wasn't easy either. Football was just a respite. Williams was trying to live his father's dream. Playing for the country probably was not even in his original plans.
They risked their lives so that we, my brother and I, have a better future. I will forever appreciate what my father and my mother did for us. They are fighters. They instilled in us respect, hard work, and the fact that nobody gifts you anything.
Nobody gifts you anything. Those words will stay with me. Williams understands what this win means, what it means for his parents. Now, if you think Williams' journey was heart-wrenchingly painful, Yamal's has been just as tedious, if not as dramatic. Yamal's mother illegally entered Spain from Equatorial New Guinea. She too was seeking a better life, away from poverty and death. At 6, it was Yamal's Morocco origin father who put him in a football academy, even when his father couldn't afford proper playing gear. But Yamal somehow found a way. Barcelona scouted him, realizing his true potential. And like they say, true talent will always see the light of day, like it did for Yamal even before he turned 10. Now that when you fast forward to a decade hence, and I'm pretty sure they would be pinching themselves even today, just thinking back to a time when their families couldn't even afford a meal for them.
They make us stronger and greater as a country. They could have easily chosen to play for other national sides, but they chose to play for Spain. They are Spanish and we are happy that they are.
The coach truly recognizing what Yamal and Williams represent for Spanish football that has been through turbulent times. When their women's football went through a massive upheaval post the kissing scandal just last year. This is a picture, a story they have to celebrate, to recognize. From harboring racism to now celebrating youngsters who fought the system, Spain has come a long way, and nothing can inspire them more than Yamal and Williams. Time for last serve. The wait is finally over. Kylian Mbappe has officially been unveiled by Real Madrid. A packed Bernabeu gave Mbappe a Ronaldo-esque welcome. The French captain revealed his jersey number 9 in front of over 80,000 screaming fans.
Uno, dos, tres. ¡A la Madrid!
Such goosebumps, those visuals there. And the fact that Zinedine Zidane was present, the man who was responsible to put that thought, that dream of Mbappe's Real Madrid passion in his head there, also present in that massive ceremony. But that wraps up First Sports here today. I hope you enjoyed what all we brought to you. I'll see you again tomorrow. Till then, take care.
Across continents, one powerful news source.
Bringing you diverse perspectives on the issues that matter.
We go beyond the boundaries to give you that little extra about every sporting moment.
So thank you for making Firstpost 5 million strong. We're counting on your support, and you can trust us to bring you the news unfiltered and unvarnished.
As the world warms, nature's sentinels will rise. As a billion hands will dig deep to write a new future for our planet.
On the show today, the T20 World Cup bandwagon has moved across to the West Indies. What do you expect from this?
Hello, I'm Alison Green, coming to you from Durban, South Africa. Today we have a special show.
Start with a report on India's shifting nuclear posture. The first time since India officially became a nuclear power.
Hello and welcome to Firstpost America. I'm Aaron Ham, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Washington.
Williams.